Thank you, Deb, for joining us. A recent client, SMSF investor, first-time investor. Could you introduce yourself and just share what motivated you to work with Sharp Property Buyers?
Yeah, definitely. As Matt said, I'm Deb. A couple of years ago, my husband and I had a few choices to make. We'd sold a house. We were looking at our retirement strategy. We really were unsure what direction to head. But once we did finalize our strategy, we knew that we wanted to go down the path of a self-managed super fund. And part of that decision was because we had had some luck with property in the past. And we definitely knew 100% that continuing down that property journey, I guess, through the self-managed super fund was something that we wanted to do long term.
And I remember you did really well with your owner occupier properties, right? So you bought, built, that property did well, and then you sold, and then you bought another family home, you bought land for your family home, built on that land, and then did really well there. And then kind of all the kids had sort of left, and then you had the big, beautiful home, and you're kind of thinking, okay, well, maybe we want to enjoy our lives a little bit more and maybe downsize and get something a little bit more suitable. And then, as you said, you've done well with property, and then possibly through the strategy and through the advice of your financial planner, they obviously recommended that self-managed super fund route. Is that right?
Yeah, most definitely. And we were very comfortable with that due to the previous success that we did have with property. It wasn't a big jump for us. We had never had an investment property before. That was probably the biggest difference. We'd always had the ability to control, I guess, our purchase, renovate the way we wanted, and then sell that off. Buying investment property is a little bit different because you're got other people living there. You don't want to spend too much, but you don't want to spend too little. You need to look at what you're wanting long term as well. Like, what do you want to get out of that property? We didn't want to restrict. We knew we might have been out of the price range for Sydney, but we didn't want to restrict our purchase either. So we wanted to look further, but we didn't have that expertise.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point, because we see a lot of people getting priced out of their local market, whether that be Sydney, Central Coast, Newcastle, Brisbane, and whatnot. And a lot of those people aren't aware that there are some fantastic opportunities in different locations across Australia in different price points. That's obviously where we sort of specialize. What motivated you to come on board with us, and I guess maybe what stood out for us as opposed to some of the other buyer's agents that you may have chatted to in the lead up?
Definitely the choice to go with the buyer's agent was because we didn't have the broad knowledge outside of Sydney, really. We were looking for somebody, that would work with us. We'd never done it before. We needed a lot of guidance. But from the first conversation, I felt very comfortable. You had a lot of knowledge. You knew your stuff. And right from that first conversation, there was no question who I was going to select.
In the lead up there, were there any challenges that you were facing, or did you feel like, okay, I've got the financial planner in place, he's given me some guidance there, and I almost need to recruit a bit of a dream team to help you get the best outcome? It seems like you might have identified that. Or did you try and do it yourself, or?
We didn't try and do it ourselves. We definitely knew that we needed help had never had an investment property before. I knew that the criteria was going to be quite different to any of my other property purchases. So to get that team together was very important for us, most definitely.
And I guess the journey itself, even before we found the property and during, I guess, was it up to your standards? Is it what you expected? Did it exceed expectations? Like, maybe just run us through that.
Our experience was, 10 out of 10. We couldn't have asked for anything more. Right from the first phone call, all of the information we got, your communication was exceptional. We knew where we were going every single step of the way, right from the you helping us with the selecting a property, providing us all the data, all the information that we needed to make an informed decision, right through to, your team helping with the real estate, the solicitor. Our purchase happened to be in Queensland. We needed a solicitor. We needed a real estate agent to manage our property. You were able to put us in contact with all of those people, which actually made our journey so much easier.
Yeah, nice. And that's feedback that we get a lot of the time because I think Renee and Jade from our team, they wrote out the steps a couple of weeks ago. There's actually 33 steps from when you purchase a property to when the property settles that our team ticks off as we go through. And they're things like, connecting you with a state specialist conveyancer, engaging a building and pest inspector, checking in with a property manager, selecting a property manager. So it's quite extensive outside of, oh, there we go, there's the property, like all the best. It's a little bit kind of broader than that.
Yeah.
I was going to say the communication is something that we absolutely pride ourselves on within our team. And I've got to thank Jade for a lot of that. Did you find, obviously working outside of me, but more so the team, they were responsive, you felt supported throughout?
Oh, absolutely. Jade went above and beyond in every step of the way, particularly taking control of the initial purchase and settlement. There was a few things with the property that we just needed to get rectified. And as you said, the pest inspection, like Jade assisted with all of that. She was on point. She never skipped a beat. Like, it was probably one of the easiest purchases that I'd made because of her just taking control of that and taking the worry out of it for us.
And I think having someone there just to guide you through, if you feel supported, then you can feel a little bit more confident and comfortable with your purchase, right?
Yep, most definitely.
And I think even, what we're big on is educating our clients with targeting specific locations and giving you the understanding as to why we're targeting those areas. So looking at things like the economic drivers, what's happening from an amenities and infrastructure standpoint. So maybe like new projects. And if you're armed with that information, which as you've seen our data, we share it all, then you can feel a little bit more confident when you're then looking at selecting a property within that area, right? As opposed to just going, oh, well, here's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car home. Why would I buy this compared to the one down the road in my house, down the road from my house, So something that we're very, I guess it's something that we enjoy sharing with our clients because we do feel like it's a nice collaborative approach, like it's a team with us and also with yourselves as well. You've had the property now for 2 years. We're just about to do your 2-year anniversary in terms of price. I have a fair idea of where that property would be sitting, as I know you do because you're a keen property person. How has it performed, firstly, from a price increase standpoint from when we purchased it?
The price increase has been exceptional. That it actually exceeded what we were expecting. And it was really great because we gave you a brief. You listened to what we wanted. We purchased something together that was dead on brief. And now 2 years later, we're seeing the results of that. So we've got a property that's not only gone up, over 20% in 2 years. We've got a property that we've still got room to make some aesthetic changes or do some modifications, which is going to further increase the benefits we're going to see from that property. So yeah, we're super stoked with the purchase 2 years on.
Awesome. And I think it's important, each property purchase is tailored to the individual. And with your circumstances, it was an SMSF, so there are some requirements that we need to meet with that property. I won't go into detail in those now, but it's a specific type of property. The fact that you're approaching retirement as well, we need to consider the right location, and we wanted that initial increase in value. We really wanted to safeguard our purchase and stack the odds in our favor to ensure that we're going to have a really fast increase in value over the initial 2 to 5 year period, and thankfully that's happened. And then further to that, your sons, two of your sons are builders as well. Now, we just wanted to keep that in our back pocket, for the right property in the right location. Potentially, that we can increase the value through that property if we need to down the track to then further your position when you get into that retirement stage, right?
Yeah, most definitely. And, that was a big deal for us. Probably that was one of the biggest things once when we were selecting a property, making sure it fit with our self-managed super fund, and it gave us, that steady stream of income as we went. We did get off to a little bit of a rocky start, I guess, like all investors. Our first tenant probably wasn't as good as what they could have been, um, but since that time, we've had brilliant renters. We've had no issues with payment. We've got that steady income flow coming. And yeah, I know that my boys can definitely, down the track, assist us to make some modifications if we need to. So yeah, it was just really the perfect property for us. And, we have to thank you and the team really for getting dead on target with the brief and what we needed.
Tenants are a big one, and it's one that comes up often. We want to make sure that the property's tenanted straight away. We don't want it to be vacant for long periods of time. We want to make sure that we have good tenants as well. Now, we want that as well, personally in our own investment properties, but also professionally with the clients that we help. Sometimes things are out of our control, and sometimes things can't, we just can't anticipate problems. But I think it's about making sure that you're with a good property manager and you just try and stay on it as best you can and just manage that situation as best you can. Obviously, in your circumstances, the tenants, they weren't as good as what we initially thought they were going to be. We had to sort of manage that process, manage them out, and then we got some better tenants in now, and thankfully we're in a better position. So it's not all rosy, but I think, you need to think of it as almost like a business. Okay, great. We've had, 20 to 25% increase in value in 2 years. We've made a lot of money with regards to capital appreciation, but yeah, also had to manage some things as well, right? And that, I think that's important. Like, if you're considering property as a wealth strategy or a wealth vehicle, you need to understand that these things are going to pop up. You're possibly going to have some ordinary tenants. You're going to have some maintenance items like, hot water systems or plumbing issues, or, there may be some issues with anything, right? Minor, but you've just got to know that you've got to just navigate that and work your way through it. And hopefully the benefits far exceed the, obviously the negatives.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think that was also setting up that key team at the start, with our advisor, with yourself, with a great property manager. Setting up that team at the beginning definitely made those few bumps in the road much easier to navigate. It was quite easy. And whilst it probably sounds like it wasn't a great start, it actually wasn't stressful, and it was all rectified really quickly because, we had a team surrounding us that could help us navigate through that quite easily.
Yeah. And I think experience, like if you've got an experienced team around you, there's not a lot that we haven't seen, our team, both from our personal experiences and also working with, hundreds of clients. So if there's something there that, if there's an issue there, typically we can kind of navigate that through. And that also, a lot of people aren't actually aware, but, like I said, we're about to do our 2-year anniversary with you. I actually sent off an email this morning for the appraisal to find out what the property's worth. But that's something that we pride ourselves on, is keeping that relationship far beyond when we've actually purchased, right?
Yeah.
And even, the tenant issue and whatnot, typically we'll work in the background with the property manager just to see how we can assist, and obviously work with yourself as well. So we really want to make sure that this is a long-term investment, but also it's a long-term, I guess, relationship between yourself and our team.
No, we really appreciate it. It's been amazing so far.
What would you say to someone that's considering using our team to help them on their property journey?
I wouldn't hesitate in rec recommending you guys. I probably, at the start of this journey, wouldn't have used a buyer's agent. You know, I had a little bit of knowledge myself just in real estate, but what I lacked was, you know, the know-how, the data, you know, looking at specific suburbs, um, and just that real detailed knowledge of why we might predict that a suburb might go up or go down. Um, After using Sharp Property Buyers, I probably wouldn't purchase a property without a buyer's agent in the future.
Yeah, wow. Wow. Interesting. That's good. Well, thank you. Um, Anything else you'd like to add about the experience or the journey?
I think the whole experience has been really great. Like, you know, you guys were professional from the start. You listened to our brief. We've got proven results now. You know, you really said what like you've achieved what you said that you could, uh, and we couldn't be more thankful.
Thank you, Deb. Thanks for joining us.